early here in the first half, and we just witnessed a great block by Finland. The score is 2-2. It's a very good match. Finland and Sweden are playing tight defenses, and now Finland has the disc. They're trying to work the disc up the field. We'll watch Timo Vaskio make a cut. He was open, but the throw didn't get to him.
One of the things which we are watching, Andy, at the moment, and we will talk a little bit later on about it in this junior game, it's a complete man-to-man marking system by both sides.
Yes, in Ultimate you have two types of defenses that are played. The man-to-man, which you are seeing right now, where it's self-explanatory. Both Finland and Sweden are playing person-to-person. The other type of defense is a zone, and perhaps later we'll talk about that some more.
That, if we can go back to the two scores that we've had on both sides, actually very good movements we saw earlier on, very early in the game as well. So it means that the inhibitions have gone out of the juniors at the moment. They're having a go right from the beginning. They're having a go for victory.
And we just saw a great movement up the field by Finland, moving the disc very smoothly for a 3-2 lead. Yes, the game is, as I said earlier, has been closely marked. Finland is playing quite well. They lost 3 games they played earlier in the tournament to Sweden by large margins, and they are just playing extremely well. They're winning now 3-2, and we'll see what Sweden will do on offense, and we'll see what type of defense Finland will come out with.
One of the things watching and listening to us at the moment, viewers at home, you will hear Andy and I talk about flows and dumps and cuts and things like that. But we'll be explaining to them as the game goes on. But when I talk about the flow, one of the things which has impressed me early on is the way the Swedes and the Finns string all these passes together. That's been very impressive, Andy.
No question about that. Each team usually has 3 players who have very good disc skills, who have all the different types of throws that are needed to play this game. And then there are usually 2 others who work the disc in the middle of the field, and then 2 people who score goals.
This is the Swedes taking it out of defense, and it drops, so a turnover, and that puts the Finns in a very strong position here. What would you do in that position, Andy?
I would clear out a side and make a cut right off the side for one throw here. That's exactly what they did, and it's a goal. Oh, he should have caught that with 2 hands. Finland making a crucial error.
The Swedes back on the attack again.
Nice grab. Swedes slowly working the disc in the midfield, waiting for a pass that'll send it up the sideline. There we go. Now he'll
Another good grab.
Another great grab. Back to the middle.
The one thing about this game, of course, Andy, is that there's no stopping in it. It keeps flowing all the time. And the one thing is that you may be watching on camera the player with the disc in his hands, but the others are running into positions, and there's
a goal by Sweden.
A goal by Sweden
to tie the score at 3. That was very nice movement up the field after a crucial turnover, I think, at this early point in the game. Finland's player for Finland threw the disc all alone into the goal, and unfortunately the Finnish goal scorer did not go with 2 hands, and it bounced off his 1 hand. Sweden capitalized on this error, worked it up very slowly, and scored.
So it's back at 3-3. And Sweden have got to start the play.
Right. After each goal is scored, both teams make substitutions. They usually put on a defensive team if they're throwing off, in the case of the Swedes here, and the Finns will put on a more or less an offensive team. People with good disc skills and very quick goal scorers.
There's the Swedes. And that's a long one. Right down there, that's putting pressure straight away on the Finns. But they've shown quite a lot of variations in their movements as well, Andy. The Finns in coming out. There's a nice cutaway and a nice movement from them again.
Yeah, the Finns are running very well. Here's a beautiful sideline pass. Now he works it to the middle, and he'll try Try to go right back up the sideline. No.
Again, for viewers watching the game for the first time, the player is allowed to hold the disc just for 12 seconds. And more than likely the opponent right standing in front of him trying to do the blocking is the one who is counting. You'll also notice that there's no referees or umpires or anything. The players themselves umpire and referee the game, which in this day and age is a delight.
Yes, it's quite a different sport than most of the other institutional sports that we know of.
This is nice play by the Swedes again. They start slowly, they build up from the back, and they can move it pretty well.
Now he'll look up sideline, now back to the middle. Nice sideline pass, and here's a nice shot. Oh, he threw it badly, and the good defense by the Finns there. Now we'll see if Finland can come back upfield and take advantage of this crucial Swedish error and score a point and take the lead at 4-3.
The one thing we will point out to viewers as well, Andy, is that the number 9 on the Finnish side wears glasses. Quite a few of them out there wearing glasses. And the number 9, the chap who played the disc, he wears glasses, and sometimes they do get knocked off.
Yeah, that's Timo Vaskio, one of the better Finnish players. Not too many people do wear the glasses, and it usually isn't a problem for them to play with them. There's a Swedish goal, a nice movement after a Finnish turnover, and it's 4-3. Now, as you watch here, the Swedes will make a full substitution, and so will the Finns. Put on fresh players to work the disc up the field in the case of the Finns, and play hard man-to-man defense in the case of the Swedes. It's 4-3 Sweden. Finland, we have to give them credit. They're playing a very strong match at this point in the game. Game is to 18, halftime at 9. So we're midway through the first half of play.
Robin, camera. So I take his camera cover off then. If you can give me a chance to.
The Swedes pick it up again at 4-3. They lead. And that's a long throw. Ideal conditions here in Colchester for the junior game. When you get some high shots, aerial shots, you will see that there's no wind here at all, which is ideal for this game.
Yes, it's quite a difference from earlier in the week when these two teams were playing. The conditions in Colchester were not ideal. Lots of wind and rain. Games last longer. Players get tired. This, as Colin has pointed out, ideal conditions for Frisbee. No wind and a fast pitch. Nice block by the Swede. We'll see if they can take advantage of this to take a 5-3 lead.
One of the things which I have noticed, Andy, is that the Swedes are very competent junior side. Beautiful grabbing again there and catching, and they're using an awful lot of the cut.
Yes, what happens here in the middle of the field, you'll see the Swedes move from each side, from the left and the right. They run a cut from the left and then from the right, and then once it gets to the sideline, they work it back across the middle until it gets to the other sideline. Then they'll work the middle again. And now this guy will look up the sideline. If it's not open, he'll look back into the middle. If the middle's not open, he keeps pivoting until he finds an open receiver, like there into the middle. I'll throw into the goal, an overthrow, and Finland will get the chance to tie the game, to come back down the pitch and perhaps tie the game at 4-4. What the Swedes are doing on defense, they're marking straight up. They're just playing the guy with the disc, we call the thrower. The man on the disc is the marker. He's playing him straight up, trying to get a block. Left to right, here right, left. The Finns will try to take advantage of this defense and run a cut to the opposite side of where the marker has moved. In this case, when the Swedish marker moved right, the Finnish receiver moved up the field to the left.
One of the things, of course, to British viewers watching the game, Andy, will be the energy that these chaps have to use in running up this pitch and up and down.
Yes, unlike what we call in America soccer and you call in Europe and in England football, the players here are running non-stop all point. So they are sprinting for as much as 2 to 3 minutes at a time. And when the point is scored, they sub off, unlike in soccer or European football, where you can only make 2 substitutions a match. You can make substitutions only after a goal, and you can make as many player substitutions as you want. Each team plays 7 on 7. So after each point, usually in the junior level, 7 players will come off. When you get into the open division, where people are over 18 years of age, you may see players stay on the field for 3 or 4 points in a row. They are in better physical condition. They are also, here's a goal by Finland. Oh, the player is down. He may be hurt. Colin?
Just making a dive to get at the disc. As you say, quite a lot of energy being expanded out there, and of course quite a few injuries as well picked up along the way, and that's something we'll be going into a little bit later when we talk about the injuries that some of the teams have suffered. One of the things about the two sides is, which may seem strange when Andy was talking about this game compared to all the other games like football and soccer as we know it in Britain, is that size doesn't matter, but the one thing you can do in this game is hide. Like in football or in other games, you can sort of take it easy, go out on a wing, or sort of hide out behind a full back for a while. You certainly can't hide in this game, Andy.
No question about that. This is completely a team sport, and all 7 players act as a unit out there. As I tried to explain earlier, you usually have 3 players who work the disc up the field with 2 people in the middle trying to get open, and then 2 people deep who score the goals. So everyone is part of the flow in the offense, and you cannot hide, as you say. You cannot rest out there on the field. The time to rest is on the sideline, in between the points or when the points are being played.
Just like some of our Swedish players over there at the moment, taking a little bit of a rest from a very fast game.
Right. I think we have a timeout here, and can we get maybe some analysis here? Finnish counterpart.
Yeah, my name is Juha Jalovara, and I'm the coach of the Finnish women's team. And I think the Finnish juniors are doing really well here. They're playing a really hard forced middle defense, which means that they are marking the thrower and forcing him to throw the disc into the middle of the field. And I think the main problem looks to me that number 9 on the Finnish squad, Timo Vaskio, who we saw earlier on throwing some good passes, hurt himself. He was the person with the glasses, and he's got a bandage on his forehead.
You were at the state of the game at the moment. It's 4-all. Does this surprise you a little bit, because the Swedes were the favourites going into the game?
No, not really, because with no wind here, we have our players are really patient, and they work it up the field. They don't make any mistakes. They don't try hard passes. They just want to score, and they'll wait for it to come out.
Well, as the coach of the ladies' side, what advice would you give the juniors at the moment as they stand 4-all against Sweden?
Just play as they're going. They're doing well. I think the Swedes are shocked at the moment.
Okay, we'll hear from you a little later. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Back to Andy, and the Finns.
That was a good commentator there. And after a timeout, we have the Finns throwing off to the Swedes, and the score is 4-4.
Well, it's nice to hear from the Finns, to know that in their camp they're quietly confident at the moment. A slow build-up, so this is something we'll be watching for, Andy.
Oh, I completely agree. The Finns are playing a great game, and we just saw a Swedish turnover, and Vasko will pick up the disc and try to move it upfield. He does have a bandage on his head. We'll try to find out later exactly what type of injury he sustained. He is the
Actually, I don't think he has an injury, Andy. I think he's put on some tape to hold his glasses in place.
That's a good observation. Yes, to keep his glasses on the field, on his head, so he can see the field. He is the quarterback of this offense, as we can use an American expression. What I mean by quarterback, he gets the disc every other pass. He has the disc in his hands, so he tries to work it up to another player, who then tries to work it up to another Finn, who will probably get it back to Vasquez. Here's an example right away.
What you in America in rugby terms or football terms would call a playmaker.
Exactly, a playmaker, a real hustler, a true competitor.
The Dan Marino, maybe of Finnish.
The Finnish junior team, perhaps. Yeah. Yes, perhaps you're right.
Finn's trying for one.
Oh, and a great grab
Look at
by
him.
Vasquez. He not only does he handle the disc, he also scores goals, and Finland leads 5-4. I have to say that Vasquez is one of the better players on this junior team. He actually plays. He's good enough to play on the men's open division, the national team of Finland. In fact, we saw him in action earlier in the week, and he's one of the handlers out there as well on the national team. He's one of the few juniors.
Your commentators are still here. There's time out for the commentators, yeah. Yeah, guys, it's 5-4 at the moment for Sweden. Or Finland, 5-4 for Finland. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yes, okay. There's an injury at the moment. One of the Finns, the number 14, it looks like.
Yes.
12?
No, number 12, Mikko Pitkanen. Pitkanen? Pitkanen. Yes. Any relation to Urquhart? No. No relation. But he's hobbling off the field. Looks like an injury sustained to the left leg. Could be an ankle injury or a knee. It's hard to tell from this angle. He'll be taken across the field to the physio tent and examined by physiotherapist and a doctor.
Meanwhile, the Swedes are taking it out of defense.
This is a very
Again, an awful lot of action. The Swedes running, trying to make space for themselves.
Yeah, this is a very important point for Sweden. They're down 4-5. Oh, and there's a turnover. Finland may capitalize on this. Vasquez picks up the disc. He looks right. Pivots. Has no one. Throws a dump pass. They look back to Vasquez for a cutter in the end zone. There it is. Goal, Finland, 6-4. This is the largest lead they've had in the game. 2-point lead, 6-4. We're nearly 2/3 of the way through the first half. Halftime is at 9, 6-4 Finland.
It was very interesting, Andy, that earlier on when we heard from Juhar, he said that the Finns would take it slowly and build up, and suddenly after it being 4-all, the Finns have now stretched their lead and they've gone 6-4 ahead, and they've done exactly as Juhar was saying. They were going to take it slow and build up.
Yes, Juha made a great observation. The Swedes are running very quickly, maybe forcing some of the passes they don't need to make. Finns are playing a very, very tight defense, and they're capitalizing on the errors. And as Juha had said, playing slowly. They're playing their type of game. They're not playing Sweden's game. And this is quite interesting because Sweden won 3 games in this tournament by the score of 15-5, 15-8, and 15-4. Here we have the Finns up 6-4. Another critical point here for the Swedes, Colin.
So the Swedes under pressure at the moment, but trying to build from the back. They'll take it down to midfield again. They have it down quite a lot of people running, but they might have to come short, which they do. They don't advance too far into Finnish territory, but now they do. Good movements from the Swedes here. As a lot of people would say, they got their nose knocked out of joint by losing 2 goals like that. And they're fighting back, so they come back to 6-5.
You know, we talked about the Finns being patient on offense. Well, we just saw a demonstration of Swedish patience. They worked the disc up about 7 passes and scored quite easily. What's interesting to note is that when the next time out, when the Finns are on defense, watch what the marker, the man on the Frisbee, is doing to the Swede who has the disc. He is forcing the Swede to throw toward the middle of the field, rather than marking straight up like the Swedes have been doing against the Finns on when they are on defense. This only allows the thrower to throw the disc into the middle. The people, the Finnish defenders who are in the midfield are looking for these types of passes and are looking for the blocks or the throwaways. What's also important is to note is that the Swedes love to run the disc up the sidelines, and the Finns up to this point have stopped them from doing this. This is a very tactical decision by the Finnish coach, and we'll see right now what Finland does with the disc, Colin.
Yeah, I think they'll go back to their format, which has been a success so far, and that is building slowly. They're taking their time, as I said. Each of the players has 12 seconds to get rid of the disc, and the time about 7, 8 at the moment, and he gets rid of it at 8. They're just taking their time, and it gives you a feeling that the Finns out there at the moment feel pretty confident.
Yeah, I agree. We just witnessed a travel call, and the disc was brought back, and there's a great grab. He looks up sideline. It's Jan Kurtula of Finland with the disc. He's having a little trouble finding an open player. He's taking his time. There's the cut. Beautiful middle pass. And there's the next one. Oh, just an overthrow. Good grab. Oh! There you witnessed great second effort. The pass to the primary receiver was long, and the secondary man came up from the middle of the field and made a diving attempt, but now missed the disc, though. He dropped it. Sweden has the disc. And he'll attempt to try to tie the score at 6.
You always get the impression with the Swedes at the moment, Andy, that they are looking around and they're trying to get rid of the disc pretty quickly. Whether that is because they want quick movement up front, or is it because they are a little bit nervous of holding it on and making a mistake?
Well, I think that's their style. I think that individually they are better disc players than the Finns. They may not play at this point as a team better than the Finns, but individually they have all the throws, and they're quite excellent runners. And it's at this point it's hard to say why they're moving the disc faster, but I think that's probably it. They can release it quicker than the Finns. Everyone on the field for the Swedes can throw it quite well, where the Finns have 3 to 4 players on the field who are really their handlers.
We had a situation there where the Finns again trying to build an attack, and they slow the whole thing down and back in the center of the park.
Right.
See, they'll slow it right down, the Finns again, until they're positive of a
perfect pass. And
yeah.
There's a great block by Sweden. Oh, an excellent layout block. He went horizontal to stop a sure Finnish goal.
See, the Finns in their build-up, it's a very slow build-up, but it very nearly paid off there. They may have been a bit unlucky, whereas the Swedes, I suppose, would say they were lucky because they got a good block. They think that's a good positional play by the...
Beautiful pass at the sideline. And an interception by Finland. They're back on offense.
Finns again taking it slow, trying to be very positive.
Here's a throw, a wide open receiver. Oh, he just misjudged that. It went through his hands. Swedes looking to capitalize on another Finnish error. Nice grab. Now here's an example of the flow of the Swedes. Beautiful pass, a backhand. to the receiver cutting underneath.
That was nice that he cut inside the two men, and he actually took one out of play in the defense as well.
Yes, excellent. I'd like to turn the mic over to Juha from Finland, and get his view on the game so far.
So what's been happening in my view is that Finland has been playing excellent force middle defense. The last Swedish play we saw went into the goal because the marker made the mistake of letting the disc go up on the sideline, and you know he should have just kept the sideline. And what is happening is the Swedes are letting the passes go both ways, and it is easy for the Finnish offense to play that. Whereas the Finns are just forcing the Swedes to throw one kind of pass, only one way. And this is what has made the game so good for the Finns thus far.
Well, the Finns are going to take it up again, Juha. And you have your number one handler back there, the playmaker, and straight away he gets into the action with a beautiful inside throw, block.
Yeah, that is one of the good points of the straight up defense. You get more blocks with the marker blocking the throw. But on the other hand, I really prefer the force middle myself. It makes it easier just marking the receivers, much easier. And Timo Vaskia, you see him with a bandage on his forehead. I play in the same string in the men's squad with him, and we have devised a lot of these plays. For example, the swing the Finnish offense made just now, this is one of our usual plays. We do this all the time. Timo Vaskia is great to play with. He throws so well. It is easy to be open when he's with the disc. And scores. Is that no? It's a turnover.
Turnover, but in the meantime, one of the Swedish players is down injured. His ankle, or no, it's his tummy. It's an elbow. I think an elbow in the tummy.
I think he's lost a little wind. He'll be down on the pitch for a little bit until someone comes out to see what is exactly wrong with him. He has the wind knocked out of him. But Juha has made some excellent points in his commentary. The straight-up defense is based upon the marker trying to block the thrower, trying to get a block on the disc. We saw that down on the Finnish goal line. The Swedes blocked it right away, but they could not capitalize on the great defensive play.
In the meantime, the doctor is going to come out and take a look at the Swedish player. We actually did think it was all the wind had been knocked out of him, that he ran into a stray elbow there somewhere when they collided, because he was trying to make a block. But it looks as if he may have a rib injury, Andy.
Yeah, it's very possible. That's Dr. Paul Marfleet, who's a general practitioner who's interested in sports medicine, who has been here all week long during this tournament, treating the various injuries the players have sustained. He'll take the Swedish player off to the physio tent and give him a full examination. Make sure there's not a broken rib or perhaps a kidney injury. We'll see. We'll get a report on him later. Back to you, Colin. We're going to have the Swedes with the disc, the Finns forcing middle.
Swedes taking it out again. Again, they start to build from the back, but their build-up is an awful lot quicker than the Finnish build-up. As we saw earlier on, there's a turnover, so it allows the Finns back in.
Yes, this is another critical point. It's 6-6. Halftime's at 9. You want to go into the halftime with a lead of a point or two. It's very, very good for the rest of the game in terms of momentum. But the Finns are having a little difficulty getting open. And but Vasquio, he gets it on the left side. He's looking, he pivots. No one open.
He's got a lot of people running up front for him. Now he's got it.
He found his man. Number 8.
So the Finns go back.
So
the Finns go back in front, 7-6.
7-6, and this is quite incredible, really. And the fact that the Finns are playing extremely well, and we have to attribute this to that force middle defense. I don't think they were playing that earlier on in the tournament. and they've adjusted. They've adjusted from their mistakes earlier on in the tournament, and we may be in for an upset here. We may have the new champion of the world in the junior division could be Finland. It may be a little early to say that, but they are playing extremely well. Patient offense, strong marking defense, and the Swedes are not able to run up the sideline.
One of the things I think, Andy, about the game so far as the Swedes are concerned, is I think that they're leaving Timo too much room, and he's able to open up and get people on moves and runs. And I think if Sweden are going to hang on in there or even try to win this game, I think they've got to close him down.
I agree with you completely. I think his experience playing on the Finnish men's national team, that's the over 18 and over team, is really coming into play here. You're seeing him make cuts that other players in the field are not making. He's thrown a few goals and he's even scored a few. And his on defense, he's right in there as well. You're absolutely right. The Swedes are going to have to come up with some sort of defense to stop him. He's the playmaker. Okay. Here we have the Finns forcing the middle. Swedes having a little difficulty breaking out of this. Oh.
The Finns were unlucky there. They could have had a turnover right in very, very dangerous territory for the Swedes. This is the flow that we saw earlier on from the Swedes. They're getting their act back together, but they're under enormous pressures again.
I think one of the differences between the two offenses being played by both teams is that the Swedes start from the middle of the field and run their cuts and run toward the sideline. They like the sideline, whereas the Finns, as Juha had mentioned earlier in his commentary, like to work the disc. They like to swing the disc around. They don't care how many times they swing it, but once you swing it from left to right or right to left, the middle begins to open up, and cuts coming from the middle seem to be easier that way. They're running different types of offenses right now, and we'll see if the Swedes adjust at all to this, Colin.
Well, they got to claw themselves back into the game. They're 7-6 down at the moment.
Oh, we had a stall count there. That's the first stall count. For those at home watching, a stall count means that the disc, well, we'll tell you in a second, there was Vasquez throwing into the goal. Oh, it's batted by a few players, and the Swedes come up with the disc. Went off the hands of a Finnish goal scorer, playmaker, and the Swedes batted it down. Now they will try to move up the field.
I think the Finns must say to themselves that they gave something away there.
Yeah, I would say that was a wasted opportunity, Colin. In my opinion, I would have waited a little bit longer. We talked about the Finnish patience. I would have waited for a cut underneath to make that. That's a very difficult pass. That was about a 30-meter pass that he made, and it also stayed up in the air. Oh, a foot block by the Finns, though it was caught by Sweden. Sweden pivoting on the sideline. No, he moves it out of the goal. We'll get back to that in a second. The point earlier, because the Swedes are about to score, I have a feeling.
Well, they got a lot of men over. The Finns have lost their man marking.
Oh, beautiful inside out.
It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen.
Yes.
Good movement.
Very good movement. 7-7. There are a lot of points that we want to bring out that happened in this last point that lasted a few minutes. It's 7-7. Earlier in the middle of the field, we had our first stall of the game. In ultimate, players are only allowed to hold the disc for 12 seconds. The player who has the disc can throw it any direction he like, but the marker, in this case, the player on the Finns, on the Finns counted out to 12 seconds. Therefore, the disc went over to the Finns. They worked it up to the field, where they had the advantage. They were moving it up, and I thought should have made a shorter pass than the 30-meter sidearm that Vasquez threw into the goal to keep the flow moving, to play that conservative game that we talked about earlier. This was a little bit out of character. They may be a little tired. It's 7-7. They're playing very, very well, and they wasted that opportunity to go up. They would have went up 8-6. Instead, it's 7-7, and Sweden is back in the game. This could have been the critical play of the first half. Colin?
Just the Swedes going back onto the attack again, but the Finns have a chance to take it out. I'm going to come back to something earlier on that happened, Andy, in a few moments' time.
Sure.
But let's see the Finns and see if they can take it out slowly again. They've thrown it away, so it gives the Swedes an opportunity here
Yes,
to go back.
That was a critical turnover. I think a misdirection, a miscommunication on the Finnish offense there could result in Sweden taking the lead again for first time since early on in the game.
Got a lot of movement.
Yeah, now the Swedes showing quite a bit of patience. There's a cut, nice grab.
Yes, the Swedes are moving it very well now.
Oh, beautiful sidearm. They take the lead at 8-7.
We go back to one of the plays we saw earlier on, Andy. We saw a foot block.
Oh, yes. On that point, we saw a lot of action that sometimes the commentators cannot keep up with. The game is so fast, and in the middle of the field, near the near sideline, we saw the Finnish defender put his foot up. This is quite legal in Ultimate, to try to get a block, and he did. He got a piece of it, but deflected back in the field, where the Swede caught it on the near sideline, worked it around, and eventually scored. We have a timeout here, and we're going to take a break from the action, and we're going to be on the sideline.
Paul, we got a timeout at the moment. I take you here out in front of the camera. Well, we have a timeout here, and it's time to take a look at and see what's gone wrong with the Finns. And you heard what's gone wrong? They were leading by 2 points, and now they're trailing again.
I think they look tired. They're making mistakes on the defense we talked about earlier on, the forced middle defense. They're letting the pass go onto the wrong side of the field. They want to force it one way, and because they're so tired, they can't mark the man well enough, and that is hurting. The last goal we saw right now, it was a mistake by the marker. The disc went the wrong way.
What's your quick advice before they start the action behind us?
Well, I think they just should get with it. Think about what they're doing. You have to be really mentally psyched to play Ultimate. You've got to be in the game all the time, and you know, when you tire out, so you have to think about these things more than you do usually.
A little bit more running from the Finns then.
Yeah, that and working harder on the disc when you're marking the player with a disc.
What about the Swedes themselves? They must have impressed you so far because they're running wide and they're running on the lines.
Yeah, well, the thing with the Swedes is that they're really good with the individual technique, I think. They're really good disc handlers. They've got great grabs, but on the tactical side, I think we have the edge. We have the edge there.
Okay, let's go back to the action with you, Andy.
Work the disc as they had it earlier. Sure. We've come back from the timeout and we've seen Finland work the disc very patiently up the sideline and into the middle of the field. I think during their timeout, their coach told them, settle down out there. You're playing a great game. You're better. You're playing much better there. Oh, and we saw a close goal almost by Finland. They're on the goal line. We see some cuts being made. This is a critical point, wide open, blocked by the Swede, an excellent block. Oh, the Finns had worked it up beautifully up the field and tried to use their energy, and unfortunately, by the goal line, the Swedes made a great block.
That was a golden opportunity lost, and that has to go down as a bad mistake by the Finns.
Oh, this could be very critical, Colin. We're talking about halftime right now. It's 8-7, halftime at 9. That would have made it 8-8, a totally different Ultimate game. We're seeing the Swedes now working up the sideline, and there it is, halftime, 9-7. It was unfortunate after Finland called timeout. They worked it so well up the field. I think during the timeout, the coach told them, settle down. You're playing a great game. Let's try to get this goal tied up at 8. and we go into the half either up 9-8 or down 9-8, only by one.
Of the junior game final, well, a good start, an even start between Finland and Sweden, but then eventually the Swedes started to get on top and they went ahead 6-4. And for a long time it looked as if the Swedes, who went into this game as the strong favourites, well, they were a little bit worried, but they have come back at half-time and they now lead by 9-7. They now lead by 9-7. I'll do that again. 9-7. So the story of this junior world final between Finland and Sweden is that we had a very even first quarter with both sides scoring good goals, and then eventually the Finns got on top. They took the lead by 6-4. But the Swedes, well, they got themselves together. A timeout helped them a great deal, and one or two mistakes by the Finns. And at half-time, the Swedes are back in front, leading by 9-7.
Okay, we have the Swedes throwing off to the Finns to start the second half. Now we'll try to see if this halftime will rejuvenate the Finnish offense that we haven't seen much in a few points. Here's a nice pass up the sideline by the Finns. Now the Swedes playing hard marking. Oh, a turnover. Sweden has the disc. Looking right, pivoting. They're using up the sideline now. They're using it quite well. Into the middle, wide open. Near the goal line. Oh, excellent. They take a 10-7 lead. Yes, 10-7 Sweden.
The Swedes again, Andy, they've come out, they're fresh, and they look as if they're hungry enough to want to stamp their authority on the game now.
Well, Colin, I can't help but go back to the first half of play when Finland was moving the disc so well, very patient, and then there just seemed to be a lull. They lost concentration. Passes became sort of forced. They didn't take the wide open pass that was shorter. They went for the longer one. And now I think the Swedes are beginning to pull away here. It's 10-7. This is a very important point for Finland. Finland has to score here to cut it to 10-8, and if they can, to throw off and play that forced middle defense that was so effective in the first half of play, Colin. Here's the Swedes throwing off to the Finns, and we'll see if the patience that exemplified the Finnish offense earlier in the game will come about here at the point of 10-7.
Basically, I thoroughly agree with what you say, Andy. The Finns have got to get back into this game, and they've got to get back into it very, very quickly. If they don't, I think the Swedes will slow the game down on their behalf and slow it down for the Finns, not allow them to do any quick building and scoring, and then the Swedes will come back again.
Yes, here you're seeing the straight-up defense again of the Swedes, and they are staying very close to the marker. Vasquez, he's really their quarterback. Oh, we have someone down in the middle of the field. Play will stop till he gets up. He's okay. Play will resume in just a moment. That's one of the things about Ultimate. You have this sportsmanship that doesn't exist in many other sports. Player goes down with an injury, or he fell, or he's hurt, play will stop. Then it begins again. Finland throwing it away. Critical turnover. Again, Finns playing, they're always on defense, it seems now, since the 7-6 mark. Now it's 10-7 Sweden. They're using up tons of energy. Just a lot of energy is being used by the Finns playing defense. Oh, and a unforced error there. A drop in the middle of the field. We'll see what Vasquez will do with it. He looks, he finds no one open, wisely throws upfield, bad throw. Oh, forced, I don't know what happened there. He overthrew him.
One of the things which we talked about a few seconds ago was the slowness of some of the Finns, and I think it is very evident now that they are tired. There's no doubting about that.
Yes, no question here, but there's a throwaway by Sweden. Again, Sweden sort of in high gear. I mean, they are just running down the field, sometimes making a throw like you saw just there. Really a very quick throw, unnecessarily so, I think. I think the Swedes could do a little with some of the Finnish patience that we saw earlier in the game. But now the Finns have the disc back. Again, a critical point in the game. They're 3 down with a lot of time, a lot of points to be played, but making a pass to the middle and then a throwaway. And the Swedes taking advantage, wide open in the end zone. It's 11-7. We may see another timeout here by Finland before this game gets out of hand.
The Swedes are very confident now. They've got their tails up. They're 4 in front. And the big problem, of course, was that the Finns started to slow down.
Oh, absolutely. And the energy level of the Swedes is very high at this point. You can see the Finnish team walking off, hands on hips. That's a sign of being tired. Now, we have Juha here, and I want to turn the microphone over to him because he was in the Finnish huddle at halftime. He could perhaps give us a perspective of what was said in that huddle. And Juha, what happened there? What was being said in the Finnish huddle to stop the Swedish momentum?
And basically, what the coach said was that the Finnish players should mark the man with the disc better. The forced middle defense we saw in the beginning was really effective. And the last points the Swedes have scored, most of them have been errors made by the marker on the disc. He has let the pass go the wrong way, like I said earlier on. And also the Finns are tired at the moment. I told them these 2 points would be crucial, and now that they've lost them, I'm not too optimistic about this game.
During the tournament, were the juniors playing a lot of this forced middle, or is this something that they've brought into this game as a new strategy to try to stop the Swedes from going up the sideline?
Well, actually, with the Swedes, I think the Swedes were not as interesting as an opponent during the tournament. England was the team that the juniors wanted to beat to get into this game, and our juniors really didn't. They played a relaxed game against Sweden every time. They didn't put all their effort into it. They wanted to come out here like they did, really psyched to take this game and just get the Swedes mentally upset. And this is what I think happened in the beginning of the game. But now the better conditioning of the Swedish team is showing off.
Back to you, Colin. Here's a throw-off from Sweden after a Finnish timeout.
Yes, and I think it would be very interesting to see what the Finns coaches had to say to them over there. I would say that certainly what they have to try and do is they have to get back into the game. They're 4 points down, and they've got to build it like they did in the first half. But they seem to have lost their way a little bit in this game, Andy, and they've been throwing away and making bad mistakes, maybe, as we said, due to tiredness.
Yes, I think so. I mean, there was an important timeout necessary. They're down 4. They have to score right here, and I think that the Finns have been told by their coach to settle down. You have 12 seconds. Use all of the 12 seconds if you have to, but get the pass off. This is a most important point. They cannot squander this opportunity here, and they are moving. They are playing a very conservative game at this point. They're waiting. Oh, there was a foul there. Nope, he slipped. But they are waiting very patiently for the open pass. They're moving quite well down the field. This is what we saw earlier. I think this is a style of play that they will try to continue for the rest of the game, Colin.
Yeah, well, they have to do something here. They have got good possession. They made some good flowing movements, but as you can see, they're just giving it away again. You can't have turnovers like that.
No, you really can't, and it's unfortunate because, again, look, they were 10 meters from the goal line there with the chance to score. We've seen this happen 2 or 3 times during the course of the game. The lack of perhaps the individual technique, as we have been pointing out throughout the match of the Finns. They really are playing only 2 players, Vasco and Ristanitiam. They have been playing the whole game. They don't take many subs, so they've got to be tired out there. And we're seeing that right now. The Swedes probably will work the disc up slowly. It's their advantage to keep running the Finns at this point. They have a 4-goal lead. And there's a beautiful pass, but he dropped it. Let's see if the Finns can take advantage here.
Swedes leading 11-7. The Finns have got to get back into this game. The unfortunate thing is that we in the commentary box, not down there on the pitch, but up here, think that the Finns are tiring.
Yes,
This is their problem.
we do. Seems that the Swedes are moving quite well up the sideline right now. Here, again, you talked about the forced middle defense. Right there, the marker being tired. Vasquio playing the entire game, taking very few subs, forgetting about the forced middle for a second. Again, that's a show of mental letdown, tiredness. And there's a pass by Sweden, no goal. Finland by its goal line. Again, Vasquio playing the entire game here, but he has to stay in there. He's their best player. Even though he may be tired, he's the team leader. He's the heart and soul of the Finnish junior team.
He's the playmaker, but I think the Swedes must have heard what we were saying in the commentary box, because they are marking him very closely and not leaving him have the possession he had in the first period.
No, they have. They seem to have switched the marker. We're going to try to find out the name of the Swedish player who's doing such an excellent job on him. Oh, that's Hasse Engström from Kalmar in Sweden. He's doing quite a good job on Vasquio, and as I say, Vasquio gets every other pass out there. He's got to be tired. Then again, he is the.
The two of them battling it out all over there again.
We have a dispute on the field. I think the Swedish player Engström is saying that he.
I think he's claiming he counted him out.
Yes, I think he's saying that he stalled him out.
Yeah.
Again, a sign of being in the game for too long, maybe for Vasquio. Just a little bit tired, not seeing some of the open receivers. We see them in the midfield, but again, nothing. We can't take away anything from Engström. He's playing a great game.
Vasquio, the close-up shot of him there, Andy.
Yes.
He looks tired.
Yes, and you have to understand, not only did he play with the juniors, but with the open division in tougher competition. He played all week long.
But he must be mentally tired as well, because he got cut for a count out there. He was taken out in 12 seconds. Couldn't get rid of the disc.
Right, and I think that Engström, his job on offense here is just to keep Vasquio running out there. Oh, good effort by Sweden. Both teams now making a lot of unnecessary turnovers, in my opinion. Not waiting for the open pass, just forcing it on again. Vasquio through his hands. Was looking upfield before the disc had come to him, and it bounced off his hand. Sweden takes advantage of this toward the goal, and the Finnish player misjudges it, and it's a goal for Sweden. 12-7, 6 points away from the World Junior Championship. Again, if we can just bring that point back, Vasquio making a mistake on the near sideline here, through his hands. The Finnish marker not getting there very quickly, and what he did not force the middle of the field. He forced up the sideline where the Swedes want to go. The throw was not that was not a very good throw. It floated up, and the Finnish defender went up early, misjudged it, landed in the Swedish player's hands. 12-7 Sweden.
And as you can see, we have quite a good crowd watching the junior final here in Colchester in Great Britain, and you will notice that one or two of them have leather jackets on, because the weather, well, it's not too warm, but just ideal for the junior final.
Well, we just found out that that's Finland's second time out at the half, and we have a crowd shot here, and now we see the Swedish bench. There's Engström, number 5, who has done such a good job marking Vasquio.
They're pretty happy over there, Andy.
Yeah, they're playing quite well. Early on, they were not playing very well. The Finns, with a lot of energy, playing a good defensive game and very patient offense, but using a lot of their energy up. And it's now 12-7. It was 6-4 Finland. So they've only scored 1 goal in the last
20 minutes. 20 minutes of the last 20 minutes. The first half and the second half.
Right, now you see the Swedes going back to the line. They are ready to play. The Swedes are ready to play. The Finns are sitting down on the sideline, trying to conserve any energy that they can for the rest of this half and for the game. They've used their second timeout already of the half. They have no more. They're out of timeouts. So this is a sure sign of the coach once more trying to get get them to play their style, play that cautious style that they play, but put them in the goal. We've watched them get within 10 to 15 meters and squander those opportunities.
While we're watching the Finnish players go back at the other end, Andy, the Swedes are down there. They're all lively. They're looking lively. They're looking excited. They've got the 12-7 lead, and you can see the worried look on some of the Finnish players' faces.
Yes, and this is absolutely the most critical point of the game at this point of the game. It's 12-7. If they cut it to 12-8, that's only a 4-point point lead. But there again, a bad throw up. He calls a foul. Here's one of the beauties of Ultimate Frisbee. The players themselves call the foul. In this case, the thrower for Finland says that the Swedish player, number 11, who is Patrick Jansson, he was fouled, and the disc goes back. No argument. It's put into play, Colin. Finland down 12-7.
Yes, and the Finns can't afford to make any more mistakes. They've got to stay on their best behavior. They've got to stay very alert, and they've got to do some running and take the Swedes out wide if they can and come through the middle. That's where they had a lot of success in the first half, and they'll find the success the same way.
Now,
they're attacking over this side.
Yes, here we're seeing something that they haven't done in the last few points, swinging the Frisbee, moving from right to left, left to right, waiting for the players to cut from the middle of the field to the open side of the field. We call that an ultimate swinging the Frisbee. It's quite effective, and the Finns are known for their for this technique. Here the marker moves to the left side of the field and up the left side, and then there should be another cutter. If not, he'll look toward the middle of the field and back around, continually swinging the disc. It worked quite well earlier, and I think this is a technique, Colin, that they'll try to go back to.
Well, this was the technique.
Point.
This was the technique they used in the first half, and I'm sure the coach at the last time out said to them, "Come on, you've got to get the flow. You got to string the passes together, and you've got to make positive and be definite out there." And I think as long as they can remain positive and definite out there, then I think they're in with a chance. But they've got a long uphill battle here on their hands. They're 12-7 down.
Yes, please. Okay, is that better? I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're 12-7 down, and they've got to fight back, and they're swinging it together, and now they're fighting back. They can string them together.
But then again, Colin, right there we saw a pass, and looked like a fairly good one from here, and the Finnish player dropped it. Now we see the Swedes on the counterattack. Little discussion there. I think the Finnish player hit the disc while it was in the Swedish player's hands. That's a violation. The disc is stopped and play begins now. Swedish player on the near sideline, looking toward the middle, gets the pass completed.
Even though the Swedes lead by 12-7, it's interesting to see that the Finns are starting to get back into the game when they have possession. They string it together a little bit, and they're fighting. They're doing everything they can to hustle the Swedes out of the game at the moment.
Yes, there's a turnover. That was good marking defense by number 12, Mikko Pikkanen.
Right, it's going to allow the Finns to get back in here. Let's see what they can do. Can they put a flow together?
Well, it's been a long drought.
They're going to go back into the center, and that's not
turnover there. Bad throw. Sweden will capitalize undoubtedly. Oh yes. 13-7, Colin. That may be it for this Finnish side.
As they would say in another sport, I think the Finns are looking down the barrel of defeat here.
I'm going to turn the mic over for a second to Juha for his comments about what is wrong. What's going on with the Finns now? Is it because they seem to get close to the end zone and lose the concentration and give the Swedes back the disc, and the counterattack has worked very successfully for Sweden?
You're absolutely right there, Andy. What is wrong is that when the Finns get close to the end zone, they don't swing the disc anymore. They look straight into the goal. And what you should do near the end zone is swing the disc once more. Move it from the side to the middle, and then go for the next pass inside. You can't pass into the goal standing and having the marker on you. What you need is to move the disc once and then pass it in. That's what the Finns are not doing.
Thank you.
Well, we're back into the action. But let's be very honest about it. The Finns have a big, tough hill battle here.
They have a monumental task in front of them. They're down 6, game to 18, out of timeouts. It would be a miracle if they won this game, I think, at this point, Colin.
Well, let's see what they do. Their best player, their star player, is back in action.
Yes,
right
a
in the
nice
middle.
pass. But the Swedes are marking very closely. They have a new player now.
Vasquez here in front of us. That's a good pickup. And he's got some good running up front as well.
Yes, now here again, this has been the trouble spot for the Finns,
Yep.
near the goal
They
line.
got rid of it again.
Yep, very good play. Now, oh, a great block by an off-man block there by Engstrom. Again, playing just a great defensive game out there. Now, we'll see what happens. No, Engstrom with the disc.
One thing I would say about Engstrom is that he has really stamped his authority on the game in the second half, and that has been the big difference between the two sides.
No question. Oh, there we see a throwaway, though, by Sweden. No, but Engstrom has been playing just an incredible game. I think partly because he's shutting down the player who he's guarding, and most of the game it was Vasco, the star for the Finnish side. And he's really done quite a job. Now, but the Finns are on the counterattack. They need to score. But the point that we tried to make earlier, they get within 15 meters, working up very nicely, and then they seem to have a mental lapse and throw it away. Oh, again, they worked it this so nicely up the field, and then an ill-advised pass really went to the Swedish player. Again, it's Engstrom with the disc. He looks left, he finds Andres Bogquist open on the side. Back to Engstrom. Oh, they're using the sideline brilliantly here.
Oh,
Goal.
yes.
Beautiful.
Goal.
Great
Great
flow
goal.
out
Yep.
there. Move from left to right all the way up the field. 14-7. Sweden over Finland. Men's junior men's championship, world championship here, Colin. This is really tough for Finland, I think. 4 points separates Sweden from the world championship. I don't see any way that the Finns are going to come back in this one. Do you?
Not when you look at that last play. They took it right out of the fence, and they moved it right down, and very, very quickly as well. And everything was positive. There was nothing negative about any of their thinking. They just moved it right down, and they knew where they were going, and it was a goal.
They did not hesitate one moment once the flow started working, and that's one of the beautiful points of Ultimate Frisbee. You saw that last point, where they worked the disc from a turnover, a mistake, from one side of the field all the way across, up the sideline without stopping. Beautiful. That was about 3-4 passes from 20 meters from their own end line all the way up the field for the goal.
One of the things which will be interesting, Andy, later on is to take a look at that in slow motion.
Oh, it would
Beautiful
be.
build-up, beautiful score.
Yes, that was one of the more prettier plays of the afternoon, I have to say, and we'll see if Vasquez can rally his squad here. Looks like he's taking the tape off from part of his forehead. He's a competitor. I don't think the Finns are going to die here. I think they're going to try to give it one last push. There's a nice grab. Oh, they're starting to throw long. It's the first long throw of the game by the Finns. Beautiful position, but it's a goal. It's a first goal of the half by the Finns. 14-8. That was a nice play. We may see more of this happening, Colin.
Long throws. I think that might be the only chance they have now of trying to bustle the Swedes out of it with long plays.
Perhaps it could be a change in strategy going on by the Finnish coach, saying, well, look, our short game isn't working. They're bottling us up. We're a little tired. Let's throw it deep. We're a little taller than the Swedes. Well, it'll open it up, and we'll get a couple goals. If not, we'll force them down into their end. If we make the mistake, we'll clamp the defense on. If that doesn't work, well, then they'll go underneath because they'll be looking for the long throws, and maybe the short passes will get open. And also to conserve a little energy. Only sent 2 guys going down long. Those deeps have not been used much during the game, so they may have more energy than the people who are the playmakers on the Finnish team, such as Vasquez, who's throwing off right now.
Yeah, Vasquez seems to have got a second wind because he's come back into it. He looked a little bit tired earlier on, and he's now come back and he's firing a little bit.
Yes, we saw when a throw off after a goal goes out of bounds, the team that receives has the option to bring the disc to the middle of the field, as what's happening here. Engstrom, we're seeing the force middle defense of the Finns, forcing always into the middle of the field. Always into the middle. Don't let the Swedes go up the sideline. That goal may have rejuvenated them a little bit. And yes, there's a turnover. What will Vasco do? Oh, wide open in the middle. Pass. Yes, a beautiful score. Simo Rutla.
So could this
14-9. A little run going on by the Finns here, Colin.
could this be a fight back?
Well, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Juha for his comments on what's happened here. We've seen 2 quick finish goals, and perhaps they're getting their second win.
What I think is happening is that the Finns sort of they went down. They were 6 points back on the Swedes, and or down on the Swedes. And what is happening now is that they are playing more relaxed because the only thing they can do is play a great game at this point, and they know this, and they won't be too easy or
Worried.
They won't be worried. They won't be worried. They can only play well at this point.
Yeah, I actually agree with what yours says, Andy, because if the pressure is off, you can relax a little bit more, and you can start to play some nice things, because you're trailing a little bit, and you think your chance is gone, and suddenly your chance is going to come back because you relax a little bit
Oh,
more.
and there's a 3rd Swedish turnover in a row, and this is what Finland has needed all along, to convert on these. Another critical one. Oh, beautiful up the sideline throw. To number 5, Harkonen. Harkonen with the disc by the goal line. This is where Finland is in trouble before. He centers it toward the middle of the field. Here's the swing offense in effect.
Back to Vasky
Skill,
again.
yes. He'll swing it back across. No, he goes to the corner. Goal, Finland. Oh, 14-10. A great play. They're down 4. They were down 7.
3 in a row.
They scored 3 in a row. And again, I have to pick up on your point, Colin. They have nothing to lose. They have absolutely nothing to lose here. The game is way into the second half. The coach has probably told them, look, guys, this is it. We've got 4 more points. The Swedes score 4 more points. They're the champions. Give it your all. Score 8 in a row right now. See what happens. Oh, we have a timeout by Sweden, a 2-minute timeout. This is the first they're half. They're worried, I think, Colin, right now. This is quite a run that Finland's made.
Well, this is the first time I think that the Finns have strung 3 goals together in the game, and suddenly Sweden were looking very confident and home and dry, and suddenly the Finns have started to come back. And I think actually you put your point on it, and you did a little bit earlier by saying that the Finns have relaxed and they're starting. Maybe the coach said to them, "Go out and enjoy it. It's the world final. You're trailing. You're a long way behind, but give it your best shot," and that's what they've done.
I think so, and I think that perhaps a little bit when you're on the winning side or a side that's leading, in this case Sweden with a 7-point lead, you tend to relax a little bit and you get a little complacent out there. And I think that's what if I was in that Sweden huddle right now, I'd be telling my players to settle down, have the disc, you're up by 4, you score now 15-10, just work the disc up the sideline or into the middle, whatever, you're open, you're running stronger, you're still running a little bit stronger than the Finns. Take your time.
By 14-10, but after having a big lead, they've suddenly found that the Finns have come back and scored 3 goals, and from 14-7 at one stage, they're now 14-10, and the Finns are back in this game with everything to play for.
Oh yes, again they have nothing to lose. I think they may be finding their legs after a long lull. They only scored 1 point since they're up by 6-4. It's now 14-10, 3 in a row. And really, they've taken the momentum, I think, right now, away from the Swedes, and that's why the Swedes called the timeout. We'll see what happens here, Colin.
Swedes back in possession. They're going to build from the back again, but they're going to bring it wide. I don't think they're going to try and go down the middle again, because they've been caught a few times down the middle by the Finns. And it's all closed down with man-to-man marking at the moment. Yeah, they've come down the middle, and yes, they've thrown it away again. So another turnover, and the Finns are back in possession.
Oh, I think a call was made, but yes, there's some discussion going on in the field. Both these teams do speak English, so they do have a common language that they can communicate in. But no, it is Finland's disc. Vasquio. Very important point here for Finland. A turnover here would be very critical. But there they're running their offense. Very patient there, Colin.
Yes, they have the, what they would say here in England, they have the bit between the teeth at the moment. They know they have nothing to lose and everything to gain, so they're giving it their best shot. So they're going to run.
Yes, and here again, the stall count getting up on 6 or 7 or 8, but the Finns don't care. They'll make the pass, and look at that. Beautiful sideline pass.
Yes.
And they'll look for the cut. They want the disc in Vaskio's hands here. This has been a trouble spot, but a beautiful throw by Vaskio. It's 14-11. They cut
4 in a row for
Finland. 4
Finland.
in a row. They're making a run on this game, and the crowd is getting back into it.
Crowd are really enjoying the fight back by the Finns.
Yes, I really think so. Now the Swedes have substituted a whole new lineup. They're down. They're leading by 3. They were up by 7. They haven't scored in a good 15 minutes, Colin. The momentum has absolutely shifted. This is Finland's game right now. If they can force another turnover, they're only down 2.
I would love to know what the Finnish coach said to them at the last time out, because they have been rejuvenated. They're a completely changed side, this Finnish junior side.
Yes, it's quite an interesting occurrence here, and I think the Swedish coach is probably worrying about this as well.
I think he's over there and he's got more gray hairs than I have. Swedes back in possession. They're going to take it wide, or they're going to try and come through the middle. The last time they came through the middle, they lost possession, allowed the Finns in, and the Finns scored. Let's see what happens with
Most
the Swedes.
important point. Oh, beautiful throw around the marker there. Sweden is moving right now very nicely, better than they've had in the last 4 points. It's in the middle. But also the Finns' defense has tightened up quite a bit. Now the break.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful throw.
Yes, the Swedes got one back, and they came right up there like a knife, cutting through butter.
And Vaskio just anticipated just a little late there. He had the right idea. Just perhaps a half a step slow. He's been in the game all game, but he was near. He was near that goal throw by Sweden. But Sweden goes up 15-11. You can see the Finns walking back a little tired. They really wanted that defensive point to cut it within 2. But the swing goes back to 4. Now Sweden plays some defense. We'll see what the Finns can do here, what Vaskio can do. That definitely stopped the momentum a little bit of the Finns. It's the first goal in at least 15, 17 minutes by the Swedes. And the counters a 4-goal run by the Finns. It's 15-11 Sweden, Colin.
And Sweden back to restart. The restart.
The throw out of bounds here. Finland will move it to the middle of the field. If it has to land on the field, we'll see what type of offense they run from the middle of the field here.
Vaskio's back in again, and his favorite marker is going to take him out as well. The Finns going to start to build it up.
Engström with the interception there. We'll see the counterattack here by the Swedes. They've got people breaking up field. Very nice. Back to Engström. Engström pivots. Looks, nice swing. See if Sweden, a throwaway. See if Finland has to score here. They must. They cannot go down 16-11 after making such a hard run that they did earlier. 15-12, they cut it back to 3. Nice pass.
But you'll see that out of camera shot at the moment, you'll see Engström and...
beautiful throw up the sideline by Makkonen of Finland.
Engström is sticking like a leech, isn't he?
Yes, he's quite a player. That was Kurtula outletting the pass to Vaskio. Harkinen throws. Great.
Just touched away.
Great block by the Swede. It was Kenneth Karlsson who got the block for Sweden. They move it up to Engström. Engström passes upfield to Berberis. Berberis lead throw, beautiful! Beautiful interception by Harkinen of Finland, and he moves the disc up to Karvinen. Oh. See what the Finns do with that Swedish turnover. Great interception by Harkinen, saving definitely a nice throw, saving a goal for Sweden. See what happens here. Not a good throw, but a great grab by Kurtula. Kurtula looking in the middle. Oh, great grab.
Pascal got him too,
There was a
but
collision on the field. Play stops. Looks like Tuomas Mäkinen and Engström.
seems that they're okay.
They're okay. They
Engström.
banged heads a little bit. They'll shake it off. These two guys have been playing all game long.
I think Engström got a smack in the
jaw.
mouth. Yeah, the jaw. And he felt it. It's like being hit by Muhammad Ali. But the battle between these two, the number 5 for Sweden and the number 9, Engström and Velasquez, has been one of the outstanding features of this junior final.
Oh, really? These two guys are obviously playing the games of their lives here at the World Championships. And again, Baskio playing all week long with the national team of Finland, the over 18s. He's got to be tired, but he's giving it his all out here. He's a competitor. Oh, great grab by Harkinen. Oh, looking for Baskio. He's got the field. Beautiful, beautiful throw. Nice grab. Straight up defense by Engström. Oh, beautiful throw. Oh, and excellent defense.
Great interception over there.
Yes, now Sweden will try to move it up the field. The flow is moving for Sweden here, I have a feeling. Yes, beautiful inside out, but no throwaway. Oh, Engström a little upset there. Baskio using the turnover. Beautiful lead pass up the sideline to Harkinen. Harkinen is playing quite a game, and beautiful throw. Will the man get there? Yes! Goal! Finland 15-12. They cut it within 3. Colin.
Harkinen is certainly, when he comes up into the attack and moves up into a good position, he started opening up a little bit for the Finns. That's a great fight back by them to come back 15-12.
That was a beautiful throw by Harkinen. He's playing quite a game. He's only 16 years old, and that was quite a beautiful flow up the sideline. Got the disc and without hesitation just fired the pass off to number 4, Sakari Karvinen. He was a goal scorer, wide open. Cut the lead here to 15-12. It was at one point 14-7. 7-point Sweden lead has been cut to 3. Only 3 points left.
I think basically one of the things which I have to say has been happening out there is that at one stage we thought the Finns were getting tired. I think now the Swedes are starting to show that they're tired as well.
Yes, yes.
Because this has been a very hard and tough world final.
Yes, I'd like to get Juha's opinion on this, the Finnish player that we have here in the booth. Juha?
I think what the Finnish coach, Pekka Ranta, has been telling the players is that, look guys, we know this game so well. This is what we play all the time. And you just don't want to make any mistakes. That is the basic thing. But you know how to play this game, and the Swedes are playing it our way. We're making them play our way, and if we don't make the mistakes, we'll win this game.
Well, right now, Sweden has worked the disc past half field as we come back to the action on the commentators' end. They're getting stalled a little bit near the midfield. Oh, nice throw. Beautiful, wide open. Was he in? No, he's short of the goal line. See if the Swedes can show some patience here by the end line. Very important point. Finland can cut it to within 2 if they score. It's 15-12. This looks like, oh, he dumps the disc fast.
There was an opening.
There it is.
There it is now.
16-12, Colin. 2 points away for the World Championship for Sweden.
There was 2 opportunities there for them to score, but they again slowed it down and they waited and made definite and positive and very, very sure of themselves.
And I think wisely so at this point in the game. You know, they want to stop the Finnish momentum, get the pass down there right on the goal line. If you throw it away there, the momentum shifts. It brings an offensive team down, and everyone gets upset because the guy makes the mistake at the goal line. You really want to take your time there, and the Swedes did show very good patience there. The man on the goal line threw it back to a playmaker. Playmaker threw it to a goal scorer. 16-12. Finland has to score here. Down by 4. Put the defense back on.
Sweden within 2 points of winning the Junior World Championship final against Finland here in Colchester in Great Britain. The Junior World Final. Sweden 2 points away, and they're restarting for us.
Yep,
This
there's
is
a
the
pull.
Swedes.
Oh, a great pull, or a throw off, as we say.
There's Harkonnen back right on his own defense. Oh, he's got to get it out of there, and he's got to get the Finns back into this game if he can. Quickly.
Nice grab. Vasquio. Nice. Into the middle. Try to go with the flow there. Now they'll try to reverse the field and go back toward the near side here. But Harkonnen not finding anyone. Oh, there he's got Vasquio. Makes a nice move on Engstrom. Engstrom guarding him pretty closely. Oh, that's a strip. You just witnessed a strip where the defender knocked the disc out of the hands of the offensive player. It's a violation. Play begins. He gets the disc back. Nice pass by Vasquio. And a goal by Finland. They pull within 3, 16, 13. Very big point there for Finland. Keeping pace, Colin, with the Swedes.
Yeah, 16-13, but I suppose the one thing that about the whole move, Andy, that has to impress one is that the performance of Harkonnen, 16 years of age, the number 5.
Smallest player on the field.
Smallest player on the field, and he was so cool under pressure out there. He waited and waited and waited so long, and then got the pass away.
Yeah.
He actually opened up the whole Swedish defense that time.
Yeah, the smallest player on the Finnish side wearing blue, Harkonnen, has been just playing a very impressive game out there. He's a lot of poise, and he's been on the field most of the game.
Right, we're back into the action at 16-13 to Sweden. Sweden 2 points away from the Junior World title, but can the Finns fight back? They have been.
Beautiful flow. See if they can reverse the field here. That's Rankin Chalander with the disc. He outlets it to another Swede who's got the disc. Frederick Wennerlund. Wennerlund back with the disc. Beautiful throw. Goal, Sweden.
Yes.
Game point, Colin. 17-13. At this point, you would have to say that it doesn't look good for the Finns. But you have to give them credit, though, Colin. I mean, they were down by 7. They never let up. They down in a hole. They came back to within 3. Had a couple opportunities to cut it within 2. But now it looks very tough here. 17-13, game to 18. Sweden 1 point away from the Junior World Championships.
Well, there's a very happy-looking Swedish bench over there at the moment. Yes, there's big smiles on the Swedes' face. They're 1 point away from this Junior World title, and of course they have every right. They have every right to feel very happy with themselves. But the one thing is that they may go away. The Swedes may well go away with this Junior World title, but they will certainly remember that they were in this tremendous battle with the Finns, because the Finns we're looking at the moment on camera, they certainly didn't give up without a great fight here in Colchester.
And I don't think they're going to give up on this point either. I think they're going to try to score, cut it to within 3 again. You never know what can happen in a game like this. Ultimate, there are a lot of shifts of momentum. Maybe we can have one here. Beautiful cut. There they go into the middle. Oh, again. It's Mäkinen with the disc. Vasquio throws it to Mäkinen. Mäkinen to Lustranen. Lustranen pivoting. Can't find anyone open. Here's Vasquio. Every other pass he seems to get, Colin. Oh, there's the throw toward the goal. Well played by the Finn. Oh.
17-14.
I had a feeling they'd come down the field and score. 17-14. The Swede may have he misjudged that, I think. He overshot it and landed right in the Finnish goal scorer's hands. 17-14. Now the Now the Finns have their backs against the wall, though. They're 17-14. Next goal for Sweden wins the championship. This is when the coach sends in their fresh players, fresh legs. They have nothing to lose. Just try to go out. There goes Harkinen back in the game, the small Finnish player.
Yeah, but it's a funny thing that we're watching at the moment, because the Finns have put out most of their best attackers, so they're not sort of drawing caution to the wind and defending anything. They're going to try and get a couple of more goals here. They haven't given anything up at all yet.
No, the Finns are throwing off. They have a good throw. They're going to try to get down there and force a mistake to cut the lead to 2. Ooh, a beautiful throw landed inbounds there, I believe. Nope, they're calling that out. It just landed out. It was a beautiful throw. That would have been a great defensive play tactically to force them into the corner, but they get it from the middle. Swedes starting with a lot of distance, wide open on the side there, the near side. See what happens here. Finnish defense very tight here, Colin.
Yeah, well, the Swedes are going to play it very cool, and they're going to take their time, and they just need 1 goal to win this junior world title, and they're going to play it. They're going to play it very slow.
Great grab right in front of us here. Beautiful grab.
They're going to move it.
Oh, the flow and throwaway.
Throwaway. Harkinen back in the action for Finland, and he has.
Oh, and he threw it away. A critical mistake. This could be the championship here on the goal line. See what the Swedes do.
They're taking it back. Could this be it for Sweden?
Well, he's having trouble. Good marking. Goal! There's the World Championship for Sweden. The juniors have won. Look at the bench coming onto the field. Pandemonium here on the sideline in the middle of the field. Oh, number 14, Fredrik Wenderlund from Åbro, Sweden, scores the winning goal. Final score 18-14 in a hotly contested match here in Colchester.
Wenderlund with the goal, but the whole Swedish team, as you can see, all excited about it. They have the new junior world champions, beating the Finns by 18-14. But let's have a word for the Finns, because they put up a very, very good performance here. I suppose they had to fight uphill in the second half. There's the Finns, and they can go back and be very proud of themselves. They put in a very, very good performance here against a very, very good and useful Swedish side. So the Finns don't have to be downhearted at all in any way. They can go away from Colchester feeling very proud of themselves that they put up a great performance in the final.
Absolutely, Colin. Considering the fact that they played 3 games against the Swedes earlier in the week, the scores were 15-5, 15-8, and 15-4. They were just blown out of all those games. Here, as we get a wide shot up on the camera here, we see a tradition in Ultimate Frisbee. At the end of the games, the teams line up and congratulate themselves. The captains will make a little speech about the game. The Finnish captain first. The losing team usually talks first, and then the Swedish captain will give a conversation back. There is some champagne given to the Swedes by the Finnish captain. And
so what you're looking at the moment is the 2 teams, the Finns on the left of camera, and the Swedes in the orange and yellow jackets with blue shorts, and the 2 sides congratulating each other on a great game, and they shake hands as they go around, congratulating the Finns, congratulating the Swedes for their victory. So as the players congratulate each other out there, we come to the end of the junior world title, and the junior champions of the world for 1986, the victorious Swedish team, they beat Finland by 18-14.